37-year-old Danielle Lopez disappeared, last seen in Burlington County. New Jersey State Police sharing a post today on this grim anniversary, asking the public to come forward with any tips.
And while Danielle's mother has announced a $25,000 reward for any information.
Somewhere in the New Jersey Pine Barrens, a forest stretches across more than 1 million acres. Sandy soil, dense pines, dirt roads that seem to disappear into nothing. It's the kind of place where it's easy to lose your way, and where a person could walk for miles without seeing another living soul. It's also the place where Danielle Lopez was last seen alive. A blue Hyundai sat disabled in water on a remote forest road in New Jersey. Personal belongings were still inside it. A phone was not. When investigators finally jump-started the dead battery, the hazard lights came on by themselves, flashing in the middle of nowhere, as if the car itself was trying to signal for help. But the driver was gone. Days earlier, 2 strangers driving through that same forest had filmed something on a GoPro camera. A woman walking alone down a dirt road called Lost Lane. She looked calm. She looked fine. That is the last confirmed image the world has of Danielle Lopez. She was 37 years old, and she has not been seen since. If stories like Danielle's deserve to be remembered, stay with me through this one. Danielle Evelyn Lopez grew up in Westchester, Pennsylvania, raised by her mother, Sue Quackenbush. She was the middle child, with a brother on either side of her. Sue describes her daughter in simple, warm words. Loving, kind, vibrant, smart, funny, loud. In the best way a person can be loud. Danielle once joked with her mother about her own name. "Well, you didn't name me Danquiet," she said. "You named me Danielle." A secondary account describes her as a good student when she was younger and a former cheerleader. She loved karaoke. She loved being around people. One of the closest relationships in Danielle's life was with her paternal grandfather, who lived in New Jersey. Her mother says the two of them were best friends, world travelers. They went on cruises together. They visited London, San Francisco, Florida. For years, that was part of who Danielle was. A daughter, a granddaughter, someone who packed a bag and went to see the world with the person she loved most. But the years leading up to April 2024 brought Danielle one loss after another. Both of her brothers died within about a year of each other. Then, during the COVID-19 pandemic, her grandfather became ill. He passed away. Less than a month later, Danielle's father died too. And about 1 month before Danielle herself disappeared, her elderly dog Roscoe had to be put down. Her mother says Danielle loved that dog deeply. This isn't meant to explain what happened to Danielle. No one can say that grief caused her disappearance, and we won't pretend otherwise. But it matters, because it tells you who she was. A woman carrying loss after loss after loss, and still calling her mother, still making her laugh, still living her life. On Friday, April 12th, 2024, Danielle called Sue, like she often did. She said she was camping in the New Jersey Pine Barrens, at a campground inside Brendan T. Byrne State Forest. She was there with her boyfriend. Sue asked if she was cold out there. Danielle told her they were comfortable. By every account available, it was a normal conversation. Easy, familiar. One secondary source even describes Danielle as sounding upbeat that night. Neither of them knew it would be the last time they spoke. The next morning, Saturday, April 13th, 2024, Danielle's location was confirmed one more time, almost by accident. She used a shared Wawa rewards account, one her mother kept loaded with about $25, just in case Danielle ever needed a little emergency cash. That small detail became important, because it placed her on camera at a Wawa store in Vincentown, New Jersey at approximately 9:11 a.m. She bought a cup of coffee. Only a single still image from that surveillance footage has ever been made public. Danielle's mother herself had not seen the full video, even by the time some of the strongest reporting on this case was published. Some secondary accounts suggest another person may have been with Danielle that morning at the Wawa. Police have never publicly confirmed that. So, We won't present it as fact. We'll simply say it remains unconfirmed. What happened later that day is the part of this story that no one has ever fully explained. At some point on April 13, Danielle's car ended up on Lost Lane, a remote dirt road deep in the forest, far from the campground, far from the main roads. Two civilians happened to be driving through that same area, filming with a GoPro camera. What they captured became the most important piece of evidence in this entire case. Danielle, alone, on that dirt road. Police say she did not appear to be in distress. She was walking. She seemed lucid. She seemed fine. The footage showed her wearing a black long-sleeve shirt, blue jeans, and light-colored shoes, different from what she had been wearing earlier that morning at the Wawa. The time was approximately 6 p.m. And then, the footage ends. New Jersey State Police have never released the complete GoPro recording to the public. It reportedly wasn't even handed over to investigators until roughly 3 months after Danielle vanished. A secondary account describing what may be in that unreleased footage adds more detail. It suggests that Danielle's car had become stuck in water or a large puddle on the dirt road. It suggests she may have told the two witnesses that she had been looking at the trees and accidentally drove into the water. It suggests she asked for help pushing her car free and that the two witnesses told her to seek help closer to the main road instead. It suggests she may have been holding a phone. None of this has been confirmed by police in the strongest, most reliable reporting on this case. So we have to be careful here. According to a secondary account describing the unreleased footage, this is what may have happened, not what is proven to have happened. What we do know for certain, with no ambiguity at all, is this. After approximately 6 p.m., on April 13, 2024, there is no confirmed sighting of Danielle Lopez anywhere by anyone. Her mother kept calling, kept texting. Danielle did not answer. At first, Sue wasn't alarmed. Her daughter didn't always reply right away, especially out camping. But as one day passed, then another, then several more, with total silence, that feeling changed into something heavier. On April 24, 2024, 11 days after the GoPro footage was filmed, Sue reported her daughter missing to New Jersey State Police. Detective Alexandra Alvarez of the Missing Persons Unit says police gathered the available information and entered Danielle into the National Missing Person Database. The search had officially begun. Then, on May 1, 2024, 18 days after she was last seen, Danielle's car was found. A blue, two-door 2008 Hyundai Accent, sitting disabled in water on Lost Lane in Woodland Township, Burlington County. Later reporting placed the road within Penn State Forest. It was roughly 13 miles from that Wawa store where she'd bought coffee. The car's battery was completely dead. Investigators jump-started it. And the moment power returned, the hazard lights began flashing on their own. Police executed a search warrant on the vehicle. Inside, they found multiple personal belongings, items that confirmed without question this was Danielle's car, and that she had been the one driving it. But one thing, the most important thing, was missing. Her phone was not inside the vehicle. It has never been found. Not then. Not since. So we have to ask the question that this case keeps circling back to. Why was nearly everything left behind, except for the one object that might explain where she went? Did Danielle carry her phone when she walked away from that car? Did it even have signal, out there, deep in the Pine Barrens? Did she try to call someone? Did the battery simply die in her pocket? Was it lost in the forest? Damaged? Taken? A secondary account claims she may have been holding her phone during the GoPro footage. That detail has never been officially verified by police. What we know, with certainty, is only this: the phone is gone. And its absence is one of the loudest, most unanswered questions in this entire case. In the weeks and months that followed, New Jersey State Police searched the surrounding terrain extensively. They covered Brendan T. Burns State Forest, the the area around the abandoned car, and the dense, tangled woods surrounding Lost Lane. Ground search teams went in on foot. Canine units, trained to track scent, searched alongside them. Horseback teams covered ground that vehicles simply couldn't reach. All-terrain vehicles pushed deeper into areas with no real roads at all. Drones and helicopters scanned the forest from above. A marine unit checked nearby waterways. Police have described the terrain itself as rough, as difficult, as unforgiving. These weren't quick, one-day efforts. Search teams returned to the forest again and again, covering ground methodically, area by area, in the weeks after the car was found. And still, the forest gave up nothing more. Investigators say they interviewed dozens of people connected to Danielle or connected to the area. As of later reporting, none of those interviews had produced what police call a viable lead. Every tip that came in, they say, was taken seriously and followed up on. One of the people interviewed was Danielle's boyfriend, who she had been camping with before she vanished. He told investigators that he last saw Danielle on the morning of April 13, 2024. It's worth being precise here, because precision matters in a case like this. Police have not publicly connected him to Danielle's disappearance in any official way. He has not been charged with anything related to this case. He has not been named a suspect. He was one of many people questioned, the same way investigators routinely question anyone close to a person who has gone missing. Being interviewed is not the same as being accused. It would be wrong to treat it as anything more than what it was. And the same caution applies to the two strangers who filmed Danielle that evening. They were witnesses. People who happened to be driving through a forest with a camera running, who happened to see a woman on the road. Nothing more than that is confirmed about their role in this story. Detective Sergeant Ryan Labriola, who has spoken publicly about this case, has said that investigators have not found evidence pointing to foul play. That sentence is worth slowing down on, because it's easy to misread. It does not mean police have ruled out a crime. It means that publicly, as of his statements, they had not found evidence confirming one. The case remains open. It remains active. It remains, in the truest sense of the word, unsolved. So what could have happened to Danielle, somewhere past that dirt road, after the camera stopped recording? There's no proof pointing to any single answer. But there are possibilities worth naming carefully and naming honestly without pretending any of them are confirmed. She may have become lost or injured somewhere in that difficult forest terrain, despite the scale and the length of the searches that followed. She may have walked away on her own, for reasons no one has ever confirmed. But if that's true, she never contacted her mother again, and she left her car, her belongings behind. She may have encountered another person. Sometime after the GoPro footage ended, there is no released evidence confirming that she ever got into another vehicle or met anyone else that evening. And foul play remains one possible explanation among the others. Police have said they have not found evidence to confirm it. They have also never said they've ruled it out. None of these is proven. All of them remain open questions, sitting in an open file. Sue has said publicly that she has her own personal feelings and suspicions about what happened to her daughter. Those are hers to hold, as a mother living through something almost impossible to describe. They are not findings. They are not evidence. We won't present them as anything more than what they are: one woman's private grief, spoken out loud because the silence became too heavy to carry alone. Months passed, then a year, then more than that. The Q Center for Missing Persons offered a $5,000 reward for information, active through July of 2025. By November 2025, Sue had announced her own separate reward, $25,000 for information leading directly to Danielle's location or her safe recovery. No new information has come forward, Sue said, and I know there's people that know. She has described this experience using a term some families of the missing come to know too well: ambiguous loss. Grief without an ending. Loss without a single fact to close it. Uncertainty, ambiguous loss, she said. It's just hard. Outside her home, she tied a yellow ribbon around a tree, a small, quiet symbol, a piece of hope that her daughter might still come home. By April 2026, 2 full years had passed since Danielle disappeared. New Jersey State Police issued another public appeal for information. The $25,000 reward was still active, still waiting for the right phone call. The investigation was still described, in plain terms, as open. As active. No new suspect had been named. No arrest had been made. No charge had ever been filed in connection with her disappearance. No remains had been found. The last confirmed image the public has of Danielle Lopez is still that GoPro footage. A woman, walking alone, down a forest road, on an ordinary Saturday evening in April. With these investigations, we follow the facts and the evidence, Detective Sergeant Labriola has said. Right now today, the facts run out somewhere past 6:00 p.m. On April 13, 2024, everything after that single moment remains unknown. Danielle Lopez remains missing. Somewhere, someone may know something that has never reached investigators. A detail, a name, a moment they didn't think mattered at the time. If you have any information, New Jersey State Police are asking you to come forward. Their missing persons unit can be reached at 609-882-2000, extension 2554. The case number is H660-2024-0052. Before this story ends, it's worth remembering something simple. Danielle was more than a case file, more than a timeline, more than a GoPro recording. She was a daughter who carried loss after loss and still made her mother laugh on the phone. She had a dog she loved deeply, a grandfather she crossed oceans with, a name she joked about, because that's who she was. She had plans. She had people waiting for her. She was more than the last day anyone saw her. And somewhere, the answer to what happened to Danielle Lopez may still be waiting. For someone to remember. For someone to come forward. For someone to finally say what they know. Until then, her family waits. And her case stays open.